sound of music. Hello, I'm Derek Allenson, and for the next 15 minutes or so, I will be your guide as we tour the University of Connecticut campus. During the tour, we will meet some of the folks who are going to be of importance to you in the coming years. Now, the history of the university dates back to 1881, when two brothers, Charles and Augustus Storrs, gave the state a gift of land and cash. And a few months later, the Storrs Agricultural School opened with 12 students and 3 faculty members. In the more than a century since that time, the mission of the university has vastly expanded. Today we have approximately 25,000 students and a faculty body of approximately 1,100. In addition, the cooperative extension system serves all of the residents of the state.
Forward! Going through. That's up. Nice shot, sir. Thank you.
I think if he kept his right elbow in and his right wrist across, he'd do much better. From this location on Horsebarn Hill, we get a very good overview of the campus. From this location, we can see many of the major buildings on the campus. Over to my left here are the tower dormitories. Now, Storrs is a rural community, and so many of our students reside on campus. In point of fact, there are dormitories scattered around the entire periphery of the campus. Behind me are the agricultural biotechnology and chemistry buildings. And to my right is the golden dome of the Wilbur Cross building, arguably the most handsome building on campus. And behind it is the silver dome of the Gamble Pavilion. And to the right of it is the Homer Babbage Library. Now, to get to the shuttle bus, which is located over on Horsebarn Hill, we are going to use a mode of transportation that was fairly common about 100 years ago. In point of fact, with 25 miles of roads and 118 miles of pathway, faculty, staff, and students have found many innovative ways of getting around the campus. So, to the ride. Okay, here's my ride. This is John Bennett, who is in charge of our horse facilities here at UConn. And this is UC Doc Daniels. UC Doc Daniels was named after Willard Daniels, the veterinary surgeon who brought him into the world, and until he retired was one of our very fine teachers. Maybe one day they'll name a horse after me. Thanks a lot, John. We are now on Horsebarn Hill Road, and we're going to take the shuttle bus on a ride to 195 and down through the campus. Off we go. Here we are, driving south down Route 195 past Mirror Lake, where some optimist is fly fishing. You know, I've seen that guy someplace before. Turning onto Mansfield Road, we will proceed to Gully Hall, which is the executive building. Gully Hall is a really elegant building that provides offices for the president, the chancellor, and their respective staffs. I'm sitting here in the President's Garden, which is located on the east side of Gully Hall. Since most of the flowers are blue or white, it's sometimes referred to as the Blue and White Garden. Now, the location of the garden is most appropriate because Gully Hall, which was constructed in 1908, was originally built as a home for the Department of Horticulture. The building is named after Albert Gully, who was a professor of horticulture and also served as the campus gardener. That tradition lives on. This fellow, in his salad days, working here with his hardware, was once a faculty member in computer science and engineering. With that, let's go into Gully Hall and see who's available.
John, Derek is here to see you.
Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
Good day.
Hello, Derek. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'd like to introduce to you the Chancellor and Provost of the University, John Peterson.
Well,
John?
thank you. Well, welcome to the University of Connecticut. We're glad that you're here, and we'll look forward to working with you for many years to come.
I know you're busy, so I leave you to it.
Well, thank you very much.
We're now going to go to Gampo Pavilion. On the way, we will pass the most recently completed South Campus Living and Learning Residence Halls. There's really very good food to be had here. Out of the bus again, and across the road to see Jonathan, Gampo, and the Field House. Here I am, standing in the Wolf Family Park next to Jonathan, the university mascot. The park is adjacent to the Gampo Pavilion, the home that Jim and Gina built. And of course, it's also the home of the men's and women's NCAA basketball champions. And anybody who plays soccer with a basketball in front of Gampo has got to be from another country. Opposite Gampo is the newly constructed pedestrian mall, and at the bottom end, on the right, is the Homer Babbage Library. Let's go in. I'm sitting here in the plaza of our renovated and reconstructed Homer Babbage Library. It sits literally and figuratively at the heart of our Research One University. This facility, along with the libraries at the regional campuses and in the professional schools, holds something like 2.7 million volumes. Journal subscriptions are in the thousands, 8,500 here in the Babbage alone. These, of course, are invaluable, but in recent years, technological capabilities of our libraries have exploded, and in no area is this greater than with electronics. Words like telecommunications, databases, LexisNexis, CD-ROMs have become common usage by library users, and as a consequence, the library facilities reflect this fact. Let us go and see one or two of these facilities and the people who operate them. Here we are in the Instructional Resource Center. This facility was developed a few years ago when it was felt desirable to provide assistance to faculty and graduate students with their computer needs, particularly as those needs pertain to teaching. Now, this has been a very wise move, because in the years since that time, instructors have found many innovative ways in which to incorporate computer usage into their teaching and learning. Let me introduce you to Kim Chambers.
Hi, Derek.
Hi, how are you doing?
Thanks for coming by.
You're welcome. Kim is the manager of the Resource Center. If you have any needs, this is the fellow to contact, and I'm sure he will be of great help.
I appreciate you coming by and inviting new faculty to come and use the Instructional Resource Center. That's what we're here for.
You're very welcome.
Thanks a
Good
lot.
to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, hello.
Derek,
Let me.
hi. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Let me introduce Paul Kobelnicki, who is the Vice Chancellor for Information Technology, and Brinley Franklin, who is the Director of Library Services. It's good to see you.
Thank you. See you.
I'm standing here on the top of the Homer Babbage Library. I'm a little out of breath. The rope was a little on the slippy side. Now, the main campus of the university is located here at Storrs, but several regional campuses and professional schools extend the mission of the university across the entire state. Over here in the southeastern direction, adjacent to the coast, we have the Avery Point campus. And then if we go in this direction, which is the southwest direction, located very close to the New York line, is the Stamford Regional Campus. And then over here in the northwestern quadrant of the state, we have the Torrington, Waterbury, and the Hartford regional campuses. Now, in addition to those regional campuses, we have several professional schools that are located off the main campus. In the Hartford area, we have the schools of social work, law, medicine, and dentistry. And finally, a mile or so off the campus, we have the Depot campus, where several facilities are located. And from the standpoint of new faculty, the facility of greatest importance is perhaps the Department of Human Resources. Now I must go back to my slippery rope. Behind me is the Thomas Dodd Research Center, the most glamorous and recent part of the library system. The Dodd Center collects and preserves original source materials. Behind the center is the Wheaton Graduate Center. The Wheaton Center has two major facilities, the Graduate School and the Research Foundation. The Research Foundation is particularly important to new faculty because it assists in the preparation of research proposals, it disseminates information about funding opportunities, and it also supports research and travel for both faculty and graduate students. And with that, we will now move over to the School of Education. We are now in the Gentry Building, which houses both the NEAG School of Education and the University Center for Instructional Media and Technology. Now, the center is particularly important for new faculty because it provides an array of instructional support services. Everything from loaning video and audio equipment, films and tapes, to instruction in distance education, and most recently in the design and maintenance of our renovated classrooms. Now, about a decade ago, the university began a systematic program of improvement in our classrooms. To date, well over 100 classrooms have been so renovated, and this was one of the first classrooms to be done. Now, while all the classrooms don't look like this, most of them have in common one thing, and that is a sophisticated electronic package in the teaching stations. With me is Lance Nye, who is a staff member in the center. Lance, how are the classrooms looking for the fall?
Everything's doing well. We just finished renovating or upgrading 4 of our previously renovated classrooms, and now we have a few more weeks to finish up our routine maintenance.
Do you find that most faculty are using the computer resources in their teaching?
Definitely. I think as the technology is improving, they're seeing more and more they can rely on it.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm standing here beside Swan Lake. Once upon a time, perhaps in more innocent times, students used the lake for ice skating, for rope pull contests, and even as a source of ice. To my right is the infirmary, where students can obtain a broad range of healthcare services. And behind me is the new chemistry building, constructed as part of our Yukon 2000 program. I have to tell you that the chemistry building is not like any chemistry building I entered when I was a student. Let's go inside and do a little exploring. Here we are on the central stairwell of this wonderful facility. Labs and offices radiate out in all directions at all levels. Now, when I was a student taking chemistry, I associated buildings like this with acetone, ether, chloroform, hydrogen sulfide. But here, the prevailing odor is of coffee. Let's go over and grab a cup. Hi, an espresso, please. Okay, down with the espresso, and it really was very good. We will now pick up the bus across from the lake, and to get there, we're going to get a ride from one of our roving boatmen, who seems to be asleep. But really, they undergo a rigorous training program. And off we go. We're not motorized, so this may take a few minutes. That really was not a great ride, and the boatman really needs some retraining. He also needs a better paddle. In any event, any tour at Yukon mandates a stop at the Dairy Bar. This is one of the most popular tourist spots in the entire state. It's a perfect, cheerful place to visit on a hot day.
Yes, sir.
My usual, please.
Coming up. Will be 1 guinea, please, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. This is fabulous ice cream. I am now going to take a ride to see Amy, one of the most recent additions to our campus community, and she is housed at the Kellogg Dairy Center. Once in love, with Amy. On June 10th, 1999, a remarkable event took place on campus. A 94-pound heifer calf Holstein was born and subsequently named Amy, and here she is. Now, what made the event rather remarkable is that Amy is a clone of Aspen, and Aspen is a 13-year-old high milk-producing adult cow. And what makes Amy unique is the fact that she was created using the DNA from a mature cow and from non-reproductive tissues. She's gorgeous. And here is our latest attempts at biotechnology, the attempt to clone KB. Well, our brief tour is over. Off to the parking lot. I must tell you that the bus driver is an infinite improvement over the boatman. Thanks very much, Mr. President.
You're welcome, Derek.
UConn really does stress career development and flexibility. UConn does have a number of these outlying parking lots where faculty and staff can park their vehicles and then ride the shuttle bus into their various workstations. And of course, we are provided with the very latest in modern conveniences. Well, let's go along. Jumping Jupiter, 2! This does happen once in a blue moon.